The next step we will need to do is to take the main back piece, and we'll need to place it facing towards us, and then we will take our main front piece and we will need to line it up so both of the right sides of the fabric are facing each other, and we will need to place those edges right at the corner there so they line up, and we will just pop a couple of pins in to hold it. If you feel confident enough not to pin, you can go ahead and sew right away. Usually I would, but just to show you how to do it today, I am just going to pop those couple of pins in. And these seams will be completely hidden when the garment is finished, so there is no need to finish those edges. Also, the Mummykins and Me patterns, they all have beautiful finishes, and therefore you do not actually need a serger or overlocker to sew these patterns. And I personally prefer a completely hidden seamless finish internally as opposed to overlocked anyway, but it does require oftentimes a little bit of extra work. So now we're going to go ahead and sew our side seams together. All the seam allowances for the Alice dress are 1/4 inch. Most machines, you will notice that the edge of the foot, if you line it up with the edge of the fabric, it is about 1/4 inch. And we're just going to start our seams with a stay stitch. My machine has the option to put it in automatically, like so. So it's just going to sew a couple of stitches before it sews on. If you do not have this feature, you just need to sew backwards and forwards a couple of times to anchor that stitch. So now we're going to go ahead and sew the side seams. Cut that thread and repeat on the other side. Remove our pins, and our main part of the dress is now together. Now we'll carry on and sew the lining side exactly the same. We're going to repeat the process with our lining or our reverse side fabric. So again, take my back piece facing forwards, take my front piece, place it on my back piece, making sure right sides are facing together, and sew. once we have both of our lining and our main pieces sewn together, our next step will be to press those seams we have just sewn. This makes sure our side seams will sit nice and flat when our dress is sewn together. Our next step will be to press those seam allowances so they sit nice and flat against our dress. So I'm taking our main piece first. I'm just going to separate that seam allowance open. I have my iron on the cotton setting as I am sewing with cotton, but just check your iron to make sure you've got it set on the right setting for your fabric. It's best to iron with a little bit of steam or starch spray, as it just makes these jobs a little bit easier. Now we have our main pressed and ready to go. You'll notice from the outside that our dress now has a beautiful flat seam, and it does make a difference in the sewing. If you do not press, you will end up with a bumpy piece of clothing and it doesn't fit together quite as well. So it is an important step. Do not skip it. Make sure you have your iron ready and press those seams when needed. And I'm just repeating for the lining. Opening up that seam allowance as I go, pressing it open, and once again we have a lovely flat seam. Now on to the next step, which will be joining the lining or reverse side and the main together.